Hey everybody, hello. It's kind of crazy being back on here. It's been so long, but it's cool. I'm happy to be back. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lady McCullough. My first name is Leticia, but I just go by Lady McCullough around here. And this is McCullough Family Ministries. Thank you to everybody who has been keeping up with us and following us and supporting the ministry all this time. Man, when we decided to take a break early December, it was supposed to just be for a little bit, and then life just kept happening and, just kept having every reason to not get on. Every excuse, too busy, doing a little of this, a little of that, over here, over there. I'm back working again. And so, yeah, let me adjust my phone. I wasn't planning on using my phone today, but all of the sudden, my computer decided to update and not work. So, here we are. Making it work. And it's still saying it's not restarting. Whatever. Technology gets on my nerves. Maybe it'll work. Either way, I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight. Good to see you all. Well, be seen by you all, because I can't really see you. So for our comeback, we are choosing to celebrate women, not just the women in the Bible. Hey, Pastor Z. Not just the women in the Bible, but women that we actually know. Women that have been important and vital in our lives. Women that have made an impact for us. And not just our mothers and grandmothers, of course them, but also just women that we interact with on the daily basis. Oh, now my computer want to come back on. So what you will be seeing for the next few weeks is interviews done with me and some of my friends, or by me with some of my friends, people that I actually know. Some of them I know from high school, some of them I met in college, some of them I met along the way as an adult. So it'll be a variety of people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, as well as different career fields and different stages and places in their life. So I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited really to just sit back and hang out and talk with some of my friends that I don't get to see that often or talk to that often. But you get to join in and be a part of that too. Y'all know I'm normally in bed by now. I can see my eyes are all red, and this tree pollen out here is no joke. For those of you that don't know, the McCullers have relocated from Georgia to Florida. So we are now in Florida, and I was like, oh, the ocean is bright and sunny all the time. This is going to be great. Not realizing that the tree pollen also chooses violence out here in Florida. But, it is what it is. But to jump off tonight, I'm going to answer some of the questions that I'm going to be asking some of the other women that you'll be seeing on here over the next few weeks. March is Women's History Month, but this is gonna last longer than March, so let's do it. I thought this would be a great way to just get back in the swing of things. And so here we are. So some of the questions that you'll hear me asking some of the other women, some of the things that we'll be discussing, I'm going to start with me. I ain't going to be on here for long because, like I said, it's already past my bedtime. But something that we'll be talking about with a lot of the other women is just what was childhood like. I don't think people realize sometimes that even from a young age as a woman, you are very much so groomed to be a caretaker. You are very much so groomed to put others before you, to take care of people. And that's what it was like for me too. I've cooked. Hey there. I have cooked from the time I don't know, for as long as I can remember. And food is just something that I love to do. It has opened doors for me with other people as well. But I grew up very similar to that. My parents divorced after a while. So, we kind of had the back and forth visiting mom and dad. But my dad was in my life, and he recently passed in July, but my dad was very much so part of my life. My mom is a huge part of my life. Even now, my aunts, my grandmothers, my cousins and I, we grew up like siblings, all piled up in my grandma's house on the pallets on the floor, 3 or 4 people in a bed. Like, it was just, that's how it was. Very family oriented for us growing up. And so now, how that played a role in my life is just, even now, I'm still very family oriented. Even now, I'm still always like, what can I do to help somebody else? What you need, if I got it, is yours. If I don't got it, I'll find somebody who has it, and we'll make it work like that. Which is awesome. It's a great characteristic, but you also have to be careful if you are a giver to not give all of yourself. You have to be careful not to give more to other people and leave nothing for yourself, which I see so often with so many women. And even I, like I said, I have to be careful of it. Growing up, I was an athlete. I played basketball and soccer. I really stuck with basketball as I got older. There just wasn't a lot of black girls in Garland that played soccer. So I kind of wanted to fit in a little more, not stand out. So I stuck with basketball. I played AAU. I played for the school. And just kind of like that family mindset. That's what sports did for me too. It taught me how to push through, taught me how to persevere, taught me how to work hard. I think I learned from sports that sometimes no matter how hard you work, you still may not get the W. You still may not get the win, but you still got to go out there and work hard. So that was a valuable lesson that like sports and athletics taught me. I also, with my teammates, I'm still really close to some of them. When I go back home, we still hang out, we still catch up, we still check on each other. So again, just that family mindset, that family mentality, I'm very big on that. And those who know me from college especially, they know I always had everybody at my house. I didn't know how to cook for, one person. So I would cook, like I was used to cooking for everybody. And I would invite people over and they would eat. But my friends knew when I hit that, they knew it was time to go. I didn't even have to tell them to get out. They knew that it is time to go. She just said, I had 8 o'clock classes. I was Kanice major. So everybody else had the 10 and 11 o'clock classes. I had the 8 o'clock and the 8:30 classes. So they had to get out. And it, like I said, it wasn't no discussion. You knew meant it's time for y'all to go. And that's so much of even who I am now. We still take care of some of everybody. People are always at our house. Well, when we know people, we just moved down here, but we do still have a few people that come by even now. But some pivotal moments in my life that were life-changing. Of course, as an athlete playing sports year round, it's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And after a while, I just kind of got tired of playing sports. So, trying to figure out who I was outside of my teammates that I grew up with, trying to figure out who I was outside of just being, an athlete. When I went to college, I didn't go to college with a lot of my friends. So college was a time for me to figure out who I was. I didn't really play for the school anymore. I didn't have my friends I grew up with, but I did meet one of my friends that you will see on here named Christian, and she looked familiar. And so when I got to college, I was just like, I guess I'll hang out with her. And we became really good friends. She's probably one of the first friends that I had that was just raw with the honesty, and she would just tell you like it is. And that's the type of friend I needed in my life at that time, even though I did not realize it. And Pastor Z is on here. So God continued to give me friends that was just like, look, I'm going to tell you the truth, and you're going to sit here and you're going to receive it. And if you need to cry, you need to cry. Then you need to wipe your face and get up and come on. So God continued to put people like that in my life. But and growing up, I went to church. I went to one of those churches, you do what you're told. You don't really ask questions, which didn't work for me because I am quite the smart aleck and I have quite a lot of questions. So it was frowned upon a lot to ask questions. And so that unfortunately shaped my view of God. Like I assumed that God also did not want us to ask questions, that you read your Bible, you believe it, you go to church, and that was it. But in college, that just did not work. Like I said, I had to figure out who I really was. And that system of just open the Bible, find some scriptures, read them, and then go do that. It wasn't working for me. And I made a lot of poor decisions. But my friend Christian, she would go to Bible study. She came from a family that was very strong in their faith. And so after a while, I started going to Bible study with her, and I started to enjoy it. And then, I don't know, one night, I still remember I was in my dorm room, and I just literally just laid out on the floor. And I was like, God, whatever I thought I had with you, it's not working. And I'm miserable. And I don't know what else to do. And Shirley Caesar, I Can Make It, was playing in the background. And I was just like, God, if you're really real, like, help me, show me. Like, you have to tell me, you have to do something, because I have nothing left. Everything I have tried has failed. As smart as I thought I wasn't getting nowhere. As crafty and slick as I thought I was, it wasn't getting me anywhere. And I just found myself more and more miserable. So I got to that breaking point where I was like, God, you got to do something if you're really real. And he did. And of course, everything in my life didn't get perfect. It didn't shape up immediately. It didn't change immediately. But some things I just did not have an appetite for anymore. Some things that made sense before just made no sense to me. And I'm not perfect now, and I definitely wasn't like instantly perfected. But I felt like I had something to live for. I felt like I had something to work for, something to motivate me other than just my own ambitions and my own motivations, which really, I needed that. I still need that. When I try to do stuff in my own strength, in my own knowledge, it's an absolute, it's a mess. I don't even be realizing it sometimes. I'd be like, Lord, I'm trying to do this on my own, ain't I? Because it's a mess. So it's the lesson I'm still learning as I go. Then I got saved for real. I say saved for real because, like I said, I grew up in church, and sometimes you think just because they dipped you in the water or they sprinkled you and you was on, in the choir or an usher, you saved for real. But in college, I got saved for real. And it was just like, Lord, I need you to do everything in my life for me. Like, I really need you. And so I got saved for real in college, not even going to church anymore. I might have been going to like on-campus Bible studies, but it wasn't like one of those situations where there was a group of people with me and they all prayed for me and we all had a discussion. It was just me. Like, of course, the word was rooted in me now. So I'm not knocking going to church, and I'm not knocking, having that with you. But for me, it was very personal, very individual, just me in my dorm room. And then I started getting active in the campus ministries, and it was really weird because I was just like, okay, I'm not doing this by myself. I was so used to doing everything by myself. So it was like, I'm not doing this by myself. I got help. I got other people, walking this walk for real. Because, especially in college, some people are at church every Sunday, and they was just out all night Saturday, and they see absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I'm not judging, but that just wasn't, for me. And so it was cool to have a group of people come alongside me, and I really needed that. I've always been a very independent to myself person, but when you are in the body, you can't be independent. Like, you have to be a part of the body. And so I was learning that at that time. And then I started going to church, and I will honestly say going to church was a bit of a disappointment for me, because I kind of studied the word on my own, just with small groups of people, and we really would dive in and dissect it. And then when I went to church, it just felt like a whole bunch of rules again, a whole bunch of do's and don'ts. Doesn't matter how you really living or what's really going on behind the scenes, as long as you look good when you show up. As long as you talk the talk and walk the walk when you're in this building, it doesn't matter how you live. And that, I just couldn't get with it. And so we kind of bounced around some different churches for a while. I will honestly say I think it's a lot easier to work on your relationship with God when you're in fellowship with others and when you are at a good church. So again, not knocking church. This is just my experience. But man, finding a good church was really hard, and I realize now part of that is just my gifting and who God called me to be. That is some stuff I just can't sit under. I just can't sit up here and act like it's not happening. So finding church was interesting, to say the least. And then me and my husband came from completely different backgrounds when it came to church. And so, that was even a struggle for us, especially early in our marriage. But we are going along. We find a church we like. We have one kid, have another kid. And then I found out I was pregnant again. And then like a few weeks later, I had a miscarriage. But when I was going to the hospital for that, they thought they saw a blood clot. And so I ended up being in the hospital for like a week. And that really broke me, because I had always been healthy, always had been an athlete, never had really been sick outside of like a cold or the flu. And I was just like, for me, I was like, God, why are you doing this to me? Like, I go to church, I pay my tithes, I work in the children's ministry, I feed the homeless, I work the clothes closet, the food pantry. I do all these things. So why would something bad happen to me? Which, looking back, God was showing me where I was, and it was very necessary at the time for me to go through that. I wouldn't say at that time I turned my back on God, but I would say at that time I built a wall between him and I, because I could not understand for the life of me what I had done wrong to have to go through, a miscarriage and being in the hospital and being put on medication and all this other stuff. Like, that was so hard for me, because I just had never been through that. And I thought I was doing all the things. I thought I did everything right that you're supposed to do as a believer. And so my life was supposed to be smooth and easy. And it wasn't. And that was just a big shock for me. But obviously, I needed to grow up. And obviously, I needed some real faith that was rooted deep, deeper than what I had at the time. But when all this happened, we were going to Shoreline. It was Shoreline, Dallas at the time, off of Northwest Highway. I think it's Shoreline City now. And they have multiple campuses all over the Dallas area. And Pastor Earl McClellan, I believe that's how you correctly pronounce his name. He preached a sermon about the Hebrew boys in the furnace. And he talked about how the Lord was in the furnace with them, how they hadn't done anything wrong to be put in the furnace, that they actually were doing right. They were doing what they were supposed to do. And that is what ended up getting them put in the furnace. But he preached a message about how intimate our relationship with God is, and how God is not sitting, eons away from us, frowning, looking down on us, shaking his head with his arms folded, because he's so disappointed in us. But God is here. Like, he's with us in our trials, in our tribulations, in our battles. And that just was not a perspective that I had of God. I had a perspective of God like I had to prove myself. I had to work hard. I had to do all the things. I had to, look a certain way. And, as long as I checked all the boxes and followed all the rules, and my relationship with God was good. But that's really religion and legalism, idolatry. I'm looking at all the things I'm doing, making sure I've checked off, my list, and haven't even really taken any time to just sit with God and get to know God. But when Pastor Earl preached that message, and this was like August 2013, and I still remember the meat of that message, and it really just broke something in me that needed to be broken. And it was my false understanding of who God was, that God was looking for opportunities to judge me, or that God was looking for opportunities for me to fail, when in reality God is like, no, I'm here with you. I'm holding your hand. I'm walking alongside you. I've actually already laid out a path of victory for you, and you don't even have to figure that out on your own, because I've already made the way. Like, I sent Jesus. You have my word. My spirit is within you. And at that point in my life, like I said, I just did not have that perspective of God. So that message really started to shift my views on who God was and what the dynamics of our relationship was supposed to be like with him. And at that time, I was just coming out of the hospital, and my husband worked hourly, and he had missed a lot of work. So we were falling behind on the bills. We were having to ask the church to pay like the utilities for us. We literally only had enough for rent. That time in our life it was a mess. It was really a mess, but I can see how God used that time to really refine me, to really prune me, and to really show me who he was, that without everything else, without, your health, without, any money, like, I am what you have, and I am enough. And that's just not something I had ever really leaned into, or that I ever really believed in. I always felt like I had to do something. I always felt like I had to, be good, or I had to have it together. And it's such a lie that you have to have it together. It's such a lie that you have to come to God, with all this stuff, and with so much already, lined up to present to him. Like, he don't want none of that. He wants you, no matter how raggedy, no matter how crazy, like he wants you right now, just like that. Like, whatever your situation is, straight like that. Like, just come. Just literally come as you are. The changing will come later on, once you get the relationship. It's the relationship and the intimacy that will change you. But if you try to do the changes, then you're most likely just going to fall into legalism and into religion, which I had done, not even realizing it. So all these years later, and not that I'm even perfected from that, I still have my moments, but in college, I met Pastor Z, and if you see me on ZMR Ministries, we always laugh about how we didn't even really like each other when we first met. We just had a mutual friend. But I think Pastor Z was one of the first women that I ever saw really do ministry. Again, growing up at a traditional Baptist church, you just didn't see the women do anything. So it was we would have Bible study, and she would open the Bible. It seemed like she could just open the Bible to anywhere, and she just knew what was being talked about and what was going on. And I was like, wow, I was thoroughly impressed with that. And, years went by. We kind of stayed in touch here and there. We weren't always talking often, but she's since I met her in 2006, she's just always been there. And she finally, she's pushed me in ministry a lot along the way, but finally she was like, I'm about to launch my ministry, and I want you to come be on it. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, I'll help out. You need help, I'll help out. I'm always the helper friend. I'll help out. So did ZMR, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm talking, and people I don't know are going to listen to me talk, and oh my gosh, but I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm doing it because I'm helping my friend. Then, we do the sessions. ZMR is rolling, and one day she was like, sis, I'm busy. Can you handle Thursday night Bible study? And if you saw my post yesterday, that was like my first Bible study I did by myself. And I was freaking out. Like, I probably sweated through my clothes that night because I was freaking out. I started that video over probably 8 times because I was just like, oh my God, what is this going to sound like? Oh my, did I say that right? Did I do this right? And finally I had to stop and pray. And I was just like, God, I'm going to push this record button, and whatever come out. And I'm not going to stop it. And I'm not going to record it again. Like, you have your way. You say the words that you want said. Because I'm about to kill myself trying to do this. Like, I'm going to just sit up here and pass out. And so I did it. And people were like, oh my God, that was good. And I was like, I felt like I was going to fall over out that chair. And so, but I was helping out a friend. Like I said, God knows. I was helping a friend. Then Pastor Z was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and let you have Thursday nights. And then she told my husband, and you take Monday nights. And we were like, we thought this was like a one-time thing. Little did I know what God was really doing. And like I said, God knows you. If God would have been like, hey, I want you to go do this for you, I would have been like, I can't. But if it's something that a friend needs done, then I'm like, sure, I can figure it out for my friend. So that's how I even got here. This is something I never thought I could do. It's something I never thought I would do. People invite me places. I'm like, will other people be there that I don't know? Because if so, I'm probably not going. I'm just, I know how to people. I know how to do that, but I'm just very much so a loner. And so stuff like this, I never thought I would do. And, a lot of times, like I said, I just always felt like I had to have it together. I had to have it all figured out. I had to know X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. I had to have a script. I had to know exactly what I was going to say. And, I just never felt fit or equipped to get up here and share the word with people or even talk to people outside of, my little small group of friends. So, I can look back and I can see the little steps that got us here. But then, Pastor Z has some things going on in life. And so she had to take a break from ZMR for a while. And my husband and I were like, man, we feel like we still have so much to share. Like Pastor Z, the Lord really used her to kind of light this online ministry fire and to get us on the same page with doing ministry. And I was like, man, what do we do? Do we just wait until she's ready again? Or, what do we do? We need something to do. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's time. It's time for us to branch out. It's time for us to have our own platform, to have our name on something, and to go in whatever direction God is taking us. Not in a sense of not having to submit to any other authority or being out of order, but in the sense of being able to move when God tells us to move, being able to do stuff under our own name and our own platform. And even still, sometimes I'm like, but God, I don't have it all figured out. I don't have it all together. How can I do this? And it's not in your own strength, certainly not. But by His Spirit, we're doing this. Even now, our schedules are so crazy. Our life is so all over the place. We got 5 kids. The oldest one, my goodness, is a teenager. And I still don't know how I feel about that. But then the youngest one, he's in kindergarten this year. And it's like, oh my gosh, I have kids and I have a husband and we do ministry and I can't believe it. And I never thought I would be doing anything like this. Like I said, if a friend needed help, I would be there. But for God to be like, okay, now you go. I'm sending you. Just you and your husband. It's like, wait, what? You want us to do what now? You want us to like really do this? And it's like, but God, we don't have the money, we don't have the technology, we don't have the space. We got 5 kids. Like, I know y'all probably think I'm in some fancy office. No, I painted the wall in my garage and I put some artwork up, and so I'm in a little nice corner in my garage. But if I keep waiting until I have it all figured out, if I keep waiting until everything is put together, I'll never accomplish anything, because I'll never have it all figured out. I'll never have it all put together. And when it comes to building the kingdom in the work of God, you ought not be doing it in your own strength anyway. If you're doing it in your own strength, then you're probably not kingdom building. You're probably just building your own name. And that's not something that I want to do. I really want to make sure that the legacy I leave, the life that I live, and then when I'm gone from this place, I want to always reflect back to Jesus, not to me. Somebody asked me one time back before I was even a school teacher, but I still worked at a school, and they were like, what do you want to be remembered for? And I was like, I just want to be remembered as somebody who helped people. And that hasn't changed, but I don't want to just help people, with their day-to-day things. I want to help people grow and get to know God. I want to help people overcome those barriers and those boundaries. And that's one thing that Women's Month, this celebration of women, is all about. Because even though it's 2024, there's still a lot of women out here being like oppressed in ministry, being oppressed just in the world, being told unbiblical things about what it means to be a woman. And really, God is like launching so many of us forth. Like, he has drawn back that arrow bow, and he's about to like fire us out. And I just really want to take time to encourage the women out there who are in ministry, who will be in ministry, who may be on the fence. If you feel like God doesn't want anything to do with you, if you feel like you don't want anything to do with God, this is for all y'all. This for everybody, all of them, every single one of you. You don't have to wait till you have it all together, because you'll never have it all together. You literally can come as you are, and God will build you as you go. You don't have to fake the funk. You can 100% genuinely be who you are, be who God called you to be. You don't have to fall into the church etiquette of what this and that looks like, because God may be doing something unique with you. He may be doing something with you, through you, for you, that maybe you haven't seen happen through anybody else. I ain't nobody else in my family doing this. I'm not the only believer in my family, but nobody else is doing this. So if you may not get, the confirmation and the affirmation from everybody, but if God said do it, do it. And he will make a way. I don't have any fancy technology. I don't have no nice studio. I got my garage. I got my phone, my computer that only works sometimes, but I'm still doing this because I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for the kingdom. So that is my encouragement for you women tonight, really for everybody tonight. We say women's celebration of women, but this is the word of God, so it's for everybody, men, women, everybody. Like I said, all y'all, because I'm from Texas, so this for all y'all out there, not just for the women. But I hope that women watch this, women, girls, everybody. I hope you watch this, and I hope you continue to tune in for the next however many Mondays. Like, the more people I have that come through for an interview, the more we'll do. So y'all keep tuning in on Mondays. We will be doing Monday at 8:30. Tonight we just, stuff got a little crazy. We got 5 kids. So if for some reason we ain't on at 8:30, we come and we got 5 kids. Like, cut us some slack. Sometimes our schedule gets a little crazy around here. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the love and support. Yeah, man, stay tuned, because God is moving through the McCullers, and we are letting him use us however he sees fit. Thank you for everybody who watched live. Thank you for everybody who watched the replay. Y'all know I'm finna get in the bed because I am back teaching again, and I gotta go deal with other folks' kids in the morning. But thank you Please share the video. If you have not already liked our page, McCullough Family Ministries, please go and do that. Like I said, the McCulloughs are in Florida now, so we hope to connect with some of our Floridians out here to get into some local outreach, into some more local ministries. So thank you. Oh, Pastor Mitchell, hey there. Some of our Clubhouse family done hopped on. Okay, I'm not going to be here all night, y'all. I'm finna go to bed. Thank you for tuning in. Follow McCullough Family Ministries and stay tuned for the other women that we'll have coming on throughout the month of March into April, and for just the other stuff that we'll be rolling out with me, Lady McCullough, and Gerard. So y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all next time.